And we're live.
We're live.
Welcome to Unpacking Live, episode 2. With
We're here again, Christian.
We're back for another week, another round.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
am Christian from Hunky Tops, owner of Hunky Tops, your favorite teacher, LGBTQ and Latino-owned teacher shop. And Joe, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. Yes, I am Joe Federico of J Federico Marketing and also Anchors to Dust Publishing. And I'm an ambassador of Hunky Tops. So here we
Hunky
are.
Tops. Thank you so much, Joe, for taking some time off on your Friday to just hang out and unpack live. So today we're talking about this article that you wrote around the time of St. Patrick's Day. So it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
Um, about making your own luck, right?
a lot of those rules still apply all year round, especially for somebody like me or you, the creatives that, just are making it on their own and building a better life for themselves and their community. So, not just for St. Patrick's Day and
Absolutely.
beyond.
And yeah, for everybody. I mean, it's not about. I mean, yeah. Let's talk about what does it mean to make your own luck. What were you thinking about when you wrote this article?
I have to be honest, being in the industry for so long and going about a year officially on my own, nobody's going to come to save you. And that's not meant to sound harsh, Christian, but I think you understand that as a business owner as
Oh, yes.
well. And everybody listening, they may not be a business owner, but especially queer men, nobody's going to come save you. You have to create a future for yourself, however that may look, right? Working through traumas, working through your likes and dislikes in life, your friend groups, every facet is what I was thinking about within my own life and how I've come this far and where I would like to be going forward as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I guess the thing is, what is the opposite of making your own luck would be just like sitting there waiting for things to happen, right? Like waiting,
Waiting for your ship to come in.
and
Period.
yeah, and that why not just do that?
Because I can speak from experience. Working those corporate jobs. No, not bad mouthing anybody that, of course, does work a corporate job, but or just living someone else's life. And that, to me, speaking for myself, my own personal experience, unique experience, is that wasn't an option. And I saw people that went down the route of just like it is what it is, waiting for their ship to come in and living a life that they were not happy with, and that was not me. So hence the article,
Right, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
and living it every single day too, as well. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's the thing though, right? It's I guess you have to choose the life that you want to live, and that sometimes sounds a little privileged because a lot of people think that they can't or that they don't deserve to live the life that they want. And I
Sure.
guess that's what we're trying to talk about here, that it's okay to want something else out of your life. And
hmm
like you said, nobody's going to come and save you, nobody's going to come and do it for you,
No.
and so you have to do it for yourself and create your own luck. Um, sounds like I said, sounds a lot like a little bit of privilege. And you mentioned before that luck, having luck in life, may look to the outside world or to other people may look like privilege, and sometimes
In May.
privilege it's a stand-in for luck. I mean, people say I've been lucky, but that means that you've been privileged, right?
But
So
is that also what our society is trying to force us into those boxes and understand these things from a different perspective? That's written for us preemptively, right? Is that the rule book? Are we breaking the rules by creating our own luck? I mean, just earlier today, I was with another client of mine, and they were opening up a second store.
that's amazing.
And I'm not saying this in a negative sense by any means. They come from a place of privilege. They
Mhm.
decided to go the opposite route, build a business from scratch on their own, became a success, working hard, wearing all the hats in the world as an entrepreneur, and then being lucky enough to open up a second location nearby. That doesn't just come from waiting for mommy and daddy to come save you.
Absolutely.
and that's not meaning to sound like he's privileged or I'm privileged or you as a business owner are privileged. It takes a lot of gumption and it's a lot harder than it sounds. And I think it's really society just telling us, well, if you go the opposite route, then you must be lucky. I mean,
Right.
luck had
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So
But you did say it takes a lot of work, right? It's not also like you
so
decide,
much.
hey, I'm just gonna make my own luck and I'm gonna be successful and I'm done, right? So it's there's a long way
There's a
from.
long path forward.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, I just realized that I've said absolutely like 5 times in this 5 minutes that we've been
I
talking. So
absolutely love that because I love the way
I
you speak.
I
And
saw I'm gonna
we're going to be,
I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says absolutely. Um,
I will be the first one to buy that and promote
thank you,
it.
thank you. So I was thinking about this other thing that you mentioned in the article that you wrote about
Sure.
having goals, and I do feel like that's super super important because when you have clear goals that make sense, right? That is not like unattainable goal.
Sure.
Um, that guides your decision making, right? So
100% every
ev-
single day.
every day, every decision that you make, if you know where you want to go and what is this lack that you're building for yourself, what it looks like, that allows you to have a clear mindset, and a clear decision making process where
Yes.
you can say, measure, is this decision or is this thing that I'm about to do, does it bring me closer to my goals?
I
And
was
if it
just thinking of
does, then
this.
you do it. And if it doesn't, then you put it aside.
Right.
And it sounds simple, but it really is super
No,
effective, and it's powerful. But it is absolutely hard. It's like yeah, you're measuring everything against your goals, and that
exactly.
gives you
You have
drive.
to. A gentleman just wrote in, actually, Charles Fortner, be a dream booster, not a dream buster.
I love that. Thank you,
I
Charles.
love that so hard because it's true. It's true. I mean, I was just thinking about this as well. And we're talking specifically about good luck. And there's good luck and there's bad luck. If you're superstitious, I mean, I am myself. I grew up Italian, I grew up Catholic. So there's a lot of superstition attached, right, to that culture. I'm sure
I
yours as well,
know.
Christian.
Oh my God, Latin American. Yes, of course, we know superstition.
Exactly. But I will tell you what's the opposite of good luck is bad luck. Would you rather work harder and align your goals with your future self and where you want to be going in the, forward in the future and evolve? Or do you, for instance, not want to go to the gym and eat all the junk food and then become sicker? And we can classify that as bad luck, right? So it's all
Right.
about choices.
Right, and in the end, you have to live with the choices that you make, right?
Exactly.
So would
Exactly.
you rather live with the awful choices that you consciously
Right.
made? Now, we always, I guess, it's also we need to strike this balance, right? We always have this conversation about being kind to yourself and not being so harsh, and
Sure.
that's kind of like where do we strike the balance? It's a little, again, it's complicated, and as we said at the beginning, none of this is easy. But yeah, I do believe that having clear goals is definitely simplifies things a little bit. What other things do you think people can do to have a clearer path to making their own luck?
I will tell you again, speaking from experience, again, not from a place of privilege, just because I've been down this road many times. And I feel as I'm getting older, more mature, becoming less naive, my goals are presenting themselves clearer to me and what I need to be able to do or have to do to get not necessarily the finish line, because there's always room for improvement. And
Right.
actually, this ties in well with our last live talking about burnout and other articles I've written and other podcasts that we've been on. So there's as you had said, Christian, there's a fine balance, right? Number one, but starting from the beginning, really checking in with yourself. And I did this actually a few days ago for my birthday. I said, "You're another year older." Right. And it wasn't an easy conversation. I believe I spoke about this on our meeting just a few days ago. And I said to myself, you're another year around the sun, right? How are you going to align this next year with your future goals? How are you going to create more opportunities for yourself? What does that look like? And talking about, it may not be feasible for everyone, but I highly recommend speaking to a business coach. My therapist also evolved his skill set and he's an entrepreneur too,
Mhm.
and he's for queer men and supports the LGBTQ plus community and their allies. And we evolved from going to therapy to becoming my business coach. And that certainly opened my eyes to how I can create more of my own luck, how many times a week I can actually be available, how I shouldn't be crossing those boundaries with my own time. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of different ways in which we can tweak our luck, Christian.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just said absolutely two more times. Oh my god, I
I love it. I love it.
it's totally fine. Um, yes. You just mentioned setting up boundaries. This is something that we discussed last couple of
We
weeks
did.
ago when we
And
were
that's
talking
hard
about
too.
burnout.
Yeah.
It's definitely, yeah, it's not easy, but it's definitely essential. Boundaries to protect your time, boundaries to protect your sanity,
Sure.
and just give yourself space to go and pursue these things that this life that you really want for yourself. And
Hmm.
like you said at the beginning, not waiting for anybody else to bring it to you, because that's just not going to happen. Now in this time that we're living, Joe, there's a lot of chaos out there, and we're bombarded by horrible news every day, and nobody knows what's going to happen, and all of the pundits and all of the experts are giving us all of these grim futures. um, it's easy to despair, right? It's easy to think, oh my god, no
Very
matter
simply
what I
put.
do, my destiny does not belong to me because I live in this country that's going to shit.
Right.
um, but I do feel like it's important to concentrate in the aspects of life that we can control. um,
We absolutely can control a
so
fair amount of it. Hmm.
yeah, there are things that are within our control that we can do, and if anything else, the thing that we can definitely control is how we react to all of this news, and how
Yes.
much, and again about protection, how much we allow those to affect us
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
our mood and everything. um, and yeah, and how are we going to react to them, and what are we going to do within our reach to continue trying to be the best versions of ourselves that we can. It's
And
hard.
be cheerleaders for other members of the community.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
That's
And
no, but it's 100% true. I
but
mean,
it's true.
even
Yes.
going, yeah. I mean, even having conversations as us as working together, right? Being your ambassador, we're kind of business partners and a few other things, which I'm so grateful for. My other clients that I go out and we can fall into these political conversations and just fall into the woe is me mindset and work on that so much longer than actual creating content or helping them achieve their better luck, their good luck in growing their businesses, for instance. And I love those conversations too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. They're
However,
important conversations. Yeah.
I stop people in their tracks in the most diplomatic, respectful, loving way. And I say, we can't control what's already happening. We can control how we react to it, how much time we spend on it, how much time we give all this news that's meant to bombard us. And I know this because I've worked in hard news before.
Right.
That could be a whole different conversation. But I'll also tell you this: I try to become the cheerleader, and I turn that off in my brain, and I say we have goals to finish and work on and produce. We can only work on what we can focus on, and that means going forward and building your own luck. And
Yep.
it works. And then my clients, I think you even stopped. You said, great idea. That's so true. And I have to have conversations with myself and say, you have a business to run. You have people depending on you. You have a future to be proud of. And let's really focus on that.
Yep. Yep. Charles says that we have to support each other in all aspects in order to survive in this declining world as we know it, and is
It's
absolutely true.
true.
That's the other. I keep saying absolutely. That's the other aspect of it that Charles mentioned is the each other is like the community aspect of it, right? It's like
Yeah,
it's easy to feel alone, especially when we're targeted as immigrants, as LGBTQ people.
absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
feel like everybody is against that. We have to remember that we're not alone, that we have community, and that's why these conversations are important, and that's why we're out here
And the
trying
blogs.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, writing the articles and wearing the t-shirts and just trying to, just, create this community and trying to be there for each other, After, like in the airplane emergency situation, right? After we take care of ourselves, we can start taking care of our community.
Then you
um,
give someone else their
yep,
mask and allow
yep,
them to breathe a little bit easier and support
yes,
them and cheerlead them along the way at the same time.
that's
So
certainly the
powerful.
goal. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention that I think is very important in my experience, that I wanted to bring to this make your own luck conversation, is that something that happens to me very often is motivation, right?
Hmm.
My motivation waxes and wanes, right? It goes up and down. Sometimes I feel very motivated and I want to do all the things, and some days I wake up and it's like I don't want, I not today, Satan, right? I
Yes,
it's motivation will always go up and down, and I think that's normal. And yes, you can try to motivate yourself and give yourself pep talks and do power poses and all those kind of things. But I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was pointing out that yes, motivations comes up and down, but the thing that you can do is develop habits, and that's super super
it
important.
is.
You
Hmm.
develop the habit to show up for yourself. You develop to whatever it is, your journaling habit. What your If you're a creative, you separate your some time to draw, or like
Hmm.
hone your skills or whatever, and you may not be motivated, but because it's a habit, you do it anyway. And
Sure.
if you keep doing it and you keep doing it, those things will cross at some point. You'll be motivated, and your habit will kick in, and you're gonna have a great opportunity to do something great.
Sure.
So that's another way I feel like you can use. Or what I'm trying to say is that it's easy to fall in this train of thought of, I don't feel like it. It's just
You
I
wake up, you don't want to do much. You don't want to have the
right,
meetings. You don't want to do the content creation. You don't even want to get on not this, but in general, maybe a podcast on a Wednesday
right,
afternoon. And you're like, I don't have a choice. Will my
right.
future self be proud of me? Or
That's a good question.
will
Yeah,
I not be able to get to my future self? And why?
is right. Just remembering that you're not doing this for anybody else but yourself or your future self. And one thing, I was just talking about journaling. One thing that I've realized I've done many times without realizing, but now I'm doing it in a more conscious way, is that when I journal, sometimes I ask my future self questions.
Sure.
So I was reading back into my old journals, and I found questions, right, when I'm like super immersed in something, and I ask myself, you know, will this project be done? Was it successful? So it's interesting for me to like go back years later and find myself, old me in that position,
That's
and read
interesting.
those questions. So now what I'm doing is I'm answering them. It's like, yes, the project was successful, or no, it was not successful. But I'm also consciously leaving questions for myself in the future,
And you're
uh,
checking in with yourself,
kind of like a check-in
your future
system of
self.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I
That
think
sounds
that's super
very
important.
healthy. That sounds
I'm
very healthy. I love that.
trying to.
Not
So
trying,
Joe,
you are doing because you're creating
I'm
your
doing it.
own. Look, and I will
Creating
tell
your
you
own
this too. I don't know if you know this about me, but in the past, I have been a life coach as well. That's where I
hmm
got the start, with even bringing other clients on years ago. It started off as a life coaching situation. And I may still become that eventually. I'm a coach in a way, a marketing PR coach for business owners,
Right.
but I was a life coach. And I'll tell you this, one of the gentlemen I had worked with that I'm still very close with because of social media, by the way,
hmm
um, he changed his life around. He lost weight. He broke up with a gentleman that was abusive towards him.
hmm
He started his own business himself. He got himself on camera and social media. And I'm not saying
It's
that like
good.
I'm the luck creator, right? Or the bringer of luck, but like that's inspiring because I'm like, I have to practice what I preach at the same time at that time.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's not easy, right?
It's not
But
easy
we
because if
gotta
you're helping
show up
somebody
for
else, you're
ourselves.
like, am I checking off those boxes? Am I doing everything I'm recommending to this other human being that's trying to
Right,
better themselves,
right.
produce better luck for their future? And their business absolutely took off and they're doing
That's awesome.
wonderfully now. I'm so proud of that because
That's
that's another connection that I made with another human being, another gay man, you know.
that's and I like we were saying earlier. At the end of the day, community is everything. So
And
remember
now
that
more than ever, my
you're not
friend,
alone. Yes,
that's part of
now
our
more than.
conversation too. Mhm.
So, Joe, as always, it's super great. Time flies. We
Time
try,
flies when you're having fun.
yeah, we try to keep this under 20 minutes or so, and I think we are pretty much
We'll have
there.
to come back, Christian. We'll have
We'll
to
have, yes, yes, again in a couple of weeks with
another
another
topic.
another topic. But before we go, we always shout out the t-shirts that we're wearing. That's part of the deal.
It sure
So,
is. It sure is.
Joe, tell me about your t-shirt.
I'm wearing a size large and I'm wearing a DEI or die. And the graphic on this is fabulous. It feels a little bit softer than the other shirts that Hunky Tops has to offer. But this is definitely a more of a layering shirt, at least for me going out. I can wear it to the gym. I can also, as we talked about, I saw you had posted, wear it to bed and be cozy and comfy while you're
Talking.
reading your book. I can, that's a whole different conversation. I
Yes.
was going to go
Yeah.
something completely different with that. But
Yeah. No, I don't know.
all
You do
kidding
you.
aside, and I know you guys out there, I know the community, but we'll see where this goes. But I all kidding aside, I highly recommend this shirt in a size large because it also feels very lightweight as the weather's getting warmer. So
Awesome. Yeah. So that one that you're wearing right now, it's the as
DEI or
we
die.
looked at it, is the charcoal black tri blend. So it's a little more gray. I am wearing a black right now. So that's a tri blend. So it means it has a blend of three different materials. This one that I'm wearing is all cotton and it's black. So that's why it's so much darker. Um, the thing that I wanted to say about that design, the DI or die, is that yeah, I mean it's topical, it's important. It's kind of like the I I felt like I had to say something about what's going on and all of this,
Exactly.
reversals of all of this DII and all of these big corporations that have all the money, and then all of a sudden they decide that they don't want to spend it on DI
No.
programs. It feels wrong.
Yeah,
So
talk about
yeah,
building community,
yep, yep.
it's important.
So yeah, this was inspired by an art show that I watched, and if you want to read about the inspiration behind the T-shirt, I think we also have an article about that.
Mhm.
Um, and the same with this
What
one
are
that
you
I'm
wearing?
wearing, this Galian one. I like it.
That's a great print.
Thank you, thank you. I really really like the way it turned out. It feels really good. It's not very heavy. Um, I mean, the print is not very heavy or anything, and I like the design. I had a long time ago when I started Hunky Tops, I had created a different Galian design, but I wasn't very happy with it because it was all like um, clip art that I was using
Sure.
from like Canva, and it didn't look great. So I redid it from scratch again because I'm an immigrant, I'm a gay person, and I do feel like this whole being a Galian thing makes sense. That's why it was like has like a little dessert and everything. Um, trying to
That's a
tell
beautiful
people that
print. Yeah, it's powerful.
gay immigrants exist and we're here and we're not going anywhere. And yeah, it's I understand that it's risky and it's scary to like show who you are in this day and age when you're
Sure.
reading in the news that people are disappearing and without due process, and that none of that is okay, and all we can do is just be visible and be here and makes
And builds community. And as we had said, as Charles had said, support each other.
absolutely. And I said absolutely one more time.
I love it. You
I'm
need to
gonna
share
have a
this. Absolutely.
I'm
I'm
gonna have I'm gonna have a super cut of all the times that I say absolutely in this video. This is really really embarrassing.
going to reshare
Uh,
it. No, stop.
Joe, the other thing that I want to make sure that we put out there before we call it a
Yeah.
day is your contact info. Can I
Yeah.
share your
So,
number?
absolutely. So, you can call me directly about the shirts. You could call me about social media for a free consultation or just text me, as a friend. 973-289-3517. Call or text Joseph, your marketing maven.
Awesome. And I just want to point out that you said absolutely, and I loved it. And
Absolutely.
and if you want to reach out to me, you can find me. I am the person behind all of the social media at Hunky Tops on anywhere. Instagram. What are the other? Oh, Blue Sky. Blue Sky is the one that
Blue
I'm trying
sky's a
to
big
grow.
one. Mhm.
So yeah, reach out, send DMs. I'm always happy to chat. Email Christian@hunkytops.com. Always happy to or just go to hunkytops.com and go to contact. That's you can find me there. Joe, we'll reconvene again in a couple of
In
weeks
a
to
couple
have
of weeks. This is
another one of
amazing.
these. Next week I'm on vacation. I'm super excited. So maybe in two
Safe
weeks we'll talk
travels.
about vacations. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch, and thank you everybody for listening. If you're catching the replay. Oh my god, I always say the wrong thing. Um, Make sure to leave comments, and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Stay hunky.
Bye, guys.